Hey there, it's Cobbs with the Parlay Parlor. It's February 2nd, and we're back with another NBA slate. And here's some bets, props, and data. Let's start off with, unfortunately, another rough night. We go 1-2 on the night. No excuses here, no explanations, just bad reads across the boards. Probably lucky enough to even win one to begin with. I mean, New York won against the Lakers. It wasn't necessarily a blowout, but it was never really in doubt. They pulled ahead a couple times, the Lakers did, but New York was able to just take control. The bench unit came well into play. Josh Hart, I think I said that his PRA or his PA was enticing to me, but I just wasn't comfortable with how willing teams would be to let him shoot. Shit hit the fan. I was completely wrong with that read. He had 20 points while he only had a total of 5 rebounds and assists combined. 3 rebounds, 2 assists. Just his night from a scoring aspect, but not our night when it comes to reading what his output would be. Bub Carrington, I mean, the Wizards were trying to lose this game. I mean, they closed the game out with Anthony Gill, Sharif Cooper, some guy that sounds like Scalabrini. I mean, it's just, and Bub Carrington didn't do us any favors. He got his 6 assists. Funny enough, I said I wasn't comfortable taking the assist alone, or as juiced as the value was there. From a shooting aspect, he did shoot 2 threes in the third quarter, but other than that, it was pretty abysmal from him. I think he went 2 for 7 overall. Doesn't play at a minute in the fourth quarter. Doesn't play much of the first half. I mean, the Wizards were trying to lose this game, but the Kings are just abysmal, and it just a rough night. So 1-2 on the week. We have a very condensed slate, only 4 games today. We have 3 props from the same game, but again, I hopefully I'm giving some better reads here today. We're gonna start off with the Hornets and Pelicans game. We're gonna go with Brandon Miller. We're gonna go for his points. Currently at 22.5. I did see some 21.5 on some other respective books. Yeah, you can get 21.5 on FanDuel, 22.5 on FanDuel as well. And DraftKings, I'm pretty sure if we refresh, that's probably gone somewhere else. Yeah, so you can get 21.5 on FanDuel and 22, and actually still both, because I guess we're close enough to tip off where we're getting alt lines. I'm perfectly comfortable with this point prediction. In terms of the output that we're getting, Brandon Miller is the number 2 option on his Hornets team. After LaMelo Ball, the possession will primarily end with Brandon Miller. And that's good for us. I mean, anyone is taking up 15 to 20 shots averaging, and he's converting these at a pretty decent clip. So for the high volume, even if it is a streaky night for him, if we're still getting somewhere close to that 33 to anywhere upwards of 50%, there's a good chance of him converting this. When we look at the matchup, it is in our favor. The Pelicans are the 3rd worst defense in the league to defend in the small forward position. And when we look at similar small forwards that have gone up against them, they have been cooking. The only one that hasn't gone over their points line was Ron Holland, and he has more of a rotational unit with the Pistons. There is no head-to-head data, but when we look across the last 5, the Hornets, I mean, they're playing at home. They're quite simply the most informed team in the Eastern Conference, I would say. I think they've won 5 in a row now. Yeah, they've won 5 in a row now. Credit to them. Brandon Miller has had a huge role in that. He's getting a lot of points. He's getting a lot of usage. When we go to Props Madness and we look at where he likes to score the majority of his points above the break, and he likes to attack the rim, because we also do get a good volume of free throw attempts, because he does like to score and create his own shot. When we look at the scoring zones and how the Pelicans defend at it, it's all favorable in our for this line of Brandon Miller to get 23 points. I'm not really concerned in terms of the minutes. He's going to get low 30s, high 20s, maybe even more if it's a competitive game. the volume is going to be there for us. There really isn't much of an injury concern when we look at the Hornets lineup. Not anyone that could really take away from Brandon Miller's volume. This really just comes down to variance. If he gets injured, high fouls, or if it's just a really abysmal night for him, then of course this isn't going to hit. But they've been doing so well. I mean, they've beat the Spurs. They've beat a lot of compelling teams. They beat the 76ers, Spurs. I think when we stretched out the 10 games, they beating the Lakers. They beat Denver and Orlando. He didn't do too well in that game, but as long as this is a competitive game and where Brandon Miller is getting his full minutes and his full usage, I have no qualms against taking him to get 22, 23 points. Our next one, we are going to stay with the Hornets. Maybe this could be just a little bit of emotional betting or revenge theory after they choked the spread against the Spurs, but that was a bad read from me, to be honest. We're going to go at Miles Bridges. We're going to take him for 20 points and assist. I was getting around behind. I was trying to get behind this or the points and rebounds, which you can get at 23.5. I decided to settle on the points and assist because he is getting a fair amount of assist. We stretched out at home games, I think, too. He's converting them at a decent rate. He's getting 3 potentials, 3 assists, 3 potentials, 2 assists, no potentials there, but he's still getting 4. When we look at the usage that he's getting, in terms from a field goal attempts, that's taken up 10 to 12, 13 shots. If we stretch it out just across the season, not even in home games, he's averaging 12 attempts. He's converting them at a pretty decent clip. I'm perfectly fine if this lives or dies with him getting 15, 16 points and we need him to get 4 or so rebounds or 17.3 assists. Again, another matchup. When we look, he will probably be playing more of a power forward position, and while the matchup isn't there, they do kind of play fluid. This kind of semi front court and back court with the likes of Concanapo and Brandon Miller. They'll kind of play a role depending on what the possession calls for. If we look at it from a small forward, what Miles Bridges naturally is like Brandon Miller, it is compelling in our favor. And if we do want to look beyond it, if the positional matchup is daunting to us, if we look at where the majority of Miles Bridges likes to do his scoring, he likes to score from above the break and he likes to attack the rim. And we look at where the Pelicans defend in those zones, they are the second and the third. They are second and they're the 29th and 30th ranked team when it comes to defending in those zones to the small forward position. We look at similar players from a positional standpoint that have played the Hornets recently. They have all essentially gone over their lines. Tobias Harris, him coming back from an injury. Ron Holland, again, in a rotational option. Aaron Gordon, his own injury. And Jarvis Walker, not really a focal point for the Pacers. So when it comes to 20 points and assists for Miles Bridges, I'm honestly, I can't bet under it, because you have these nights where he can get this alone and by himself. I was leaning maybe going towards Sadiq Bey again. He has his points and rebounds line, I want to say, is 23.5, like the other night, 22.5 actually. I would lean that way. I would consider it as well. Maybe Zion. His points, is it 30, 28? Maybe. But I like Miles Bridges. He can get this in points alone. The volume is going to be there. He's going to be seeing high 20s, low 30s, depending on the game script and the situation. 20 points and an assist. I like it. Let's lock it in. You can currently get it on DraftKings for -128. It's roughly fairly priced across all the books and prediction apps. Let's go over to our last. All right, our last prop from the Pelicans and Hornets game is going to be Colin Sexton for 12 points. Yes, we're going to go for another score. But again, I think the narrative, the idea is we're gonna go for high volume, high usage players and their roles against comparable matchups. Colin Sexton, he's fully going to be a rotational player. He is averaging 22 minutes across the season. This is a line that he's averaging above. Of course, in recent games, as you can see, there's going to be a bit of red. He's getting lesser minutes, but these have been games that the Hornets have been in a great run of form in. It's been competitive. They're keeping the starting unit out more. It's an early game. It's 3 o'clock on a Monday. The last time I said it's an early game, I thought the away team was going to come to town and get the job done. And as you can see, Colin Sexton got 21 points against the second unit of the Spurs. I think the second unit of the Pelicans is a comparably worse matchup. As you can see, they are the second worst to letting up points to the shooting guard position. When we look at recent shooting guards that go up against the Pelicans, they've comparably had a good time. They've all ate, in spite of Quentin Grimes, Jalen Wells, and Cedric Howard. We're looking at rookie, and two very volatile shooters. When we look at props.madness, when we look at the zones where Colin Sexton likes to do most of his scoring, and the narrative goes again, like with Miles Bridges and Brandon Miller, we're hoping that this is again above the break and at the rim. Aggressive players that like to have the ball in their hands. They can either score from getting catch and shoot opportunities or attacking the rim and creating their own shots themselves, or from the pull-up. Hopefully we have a good narrative with it today. This is a plus money play. Like I say again, maybe in recent days this doesn't matter, but if you play all of these straight, I hope down the line I will give you more profit than I do losses. If you're just recently joining, I know the last 2 days probably haven't been the most compelling, but maybe it was just a weekend. Let's see if that is. Hopefully that we can say that in our case that is. Maybe we just start off slow on the weekends and the week we start well, and then we'll have to figure out what we do come Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Maybe we'll take a break. But in any case, let's worry about getting the record back into the green. And we're going to go to our fourth and final prop today. We're going to go with Jaden McDaniels for 21 points and rebounds. Let's see if you can get this at 20. You can, but it would become at a very juice minus 141. We have the Timberwolves visiting the Grizzlies. We have Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle listed as questionable, and if they are listed as out, I can see this line going up into 22.5, honestly. Even if they were both available, this is a line that I have no doubt would playing, because even if we play in games with them, is the line that he has been comfortably averaging recently. And if we do even decide to do it in games without Julius Randle, which would probably be the most comparative one, phenomenal. If you look up the games without Anthony Edwards, and two of them, which are very rare, and the majority of them have come from last season, but if we just do it without Anthony Edwards, as you can see, whenever one of Ant or Julius Randle are out, the usage goes way up for Jaden McDaniels, and his responsibility as a facilitator and scoring option goes up. In terms of minutes, he's going to be averaging in the low 30s to high 30s in any outcome, whether it's a win or a loss, unless it becomes a comparative blowout. And even in the most recent game, he still got 34 minutes in a near 20-point blowout for the Timberwolves. The matchup is there. The Grizzlies are the 10th worst defense of the power forward position in points and rebounds. If we look at recent matchups, yes, they just recently played on Saturday. I was initially looking at Ty Jerome points and assists, but I just couldn't get myself over the hump of putting that bet in because it's his second game back. Yes, he had a great night, but it is confirmed he's on a minutes restriction, and I just wouldn't feel like it would be responsible just giving you a line of, yes, he recently hit it, but he's on a minutes restriction. At least in this case, I can say he recently hit it, and it's a line that he has been consistently hitting, and the opportunity is there if Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle are expected out. his responsibility for Jaden McDaniels and the like of Dante DiVincenzo will skyrocket. If we look at points down this, we look at where Jaden McDaniels likes to do most of his scoring. He likes to attack the rim. He can pull up and he can score from above the break. He's a very versatile player. And we look at the defensive zones to the power forward position. The Grizzlies aren't that good. Their middle into pretty poor when it comes to it. So it's a decent matchup. When we look at the usage that he's going to have, he is averaging a 18% usage rate. But if we look at it without Julius Randle, that hasn't happened this season. If we look at it without Anthony Edwards, his usage rate goes up to 20%. And when it is at 20%, he has hit this line in 7 out of 10 games. So the matchup is there already. The potential for Anthony Edwards to be out and for Jaden McDaniels to get more responsibility is definitely there. So for 21 points and rebounds, I like it. The line has been fluctuating on it. It looks like the books are content with taking the money on 20 or 21. If it is reported that both Anthony Edwards or one or the other are listed out, then this could definitely go up to 21 and 22. I wouldn't be surprised with that. So I like to get this in early. So again, the card for today is going to be Brandon Miller, 22 or 23 points. Miles Bridges, 20 points and assist. Colin Sexton, 12 points. And Jaden McDaniels, 21 points and rebounds. If you're still here, I do appreciate you taking time out of your day to listen to me ramble about props. I do want to apologize for a rough couple of days. I do promise to continue, even if this becomes a diary of losses. I do promise to continue to at least catalog the selections I make for at least myself, to show that I'm credible when it comes to at least playing these as straights, which I am doing now. Unfortunately enough, I'm playing these as straights after I've chalked a day of 2 days worth of parlays to now go 1 and 2 nights in a row. Hopefully we can get back into form. Some other props that I was looking at today, I was considering Sadiq Bey on points and rebounds. This was more of a layup. This is a line that he has been crushing recently. The matchup should be there, actually. When you look at the defensive makeup here, he would be playing against one of Knipple or Miles Bridges. Not the most compelling defenders. The only thing that couldn't get me over there is just the matchup to the small forward, and the power forward position just isn't the best. Same reason why I couldn't get behind Moussa Diaby, why I couldn't get behind Derek Queen or Zion. But in terms of recent data, it's there. He's getting the usage for it. I mean, he's jacking up enough shots, and the rebound opportunities and the minutes are there for him to definitely get those 23 points and rebounds. He's been crushing it recently. It is just at his season total. I just couldn't get to it because of the matchup. Moussa Diaby, points and rebounds was another one too, just because I think the Derek Queen matchup, it's a mismatch, honestly, for as energetic as Derek Queen is. I just think that Diaby might have a good time. The matchup is there. The Pelicans are abysmal when it comes to defending the centers. When we look at recent centers to go up against them, I mean, they've all kind of roughly covered this line or come close about it, depending on the role that they play. But Moussa Diaby, I mean, he's not going to get this for you in terms of shots. Oh, well, he will. His attempts will just be putbacks and very, very close dunks at the rim. It's all going to come in rebounds. His rebounds line is 10.5. It's a hard line to get myself over, honestly. Points, it's rough. I couldn't get myself to do a double-double because double-double, because then he could just get 9 points and then 12 rebounds and then boom, you're chalking everything. So not one I was too confident about. What else did I like on the card today? With Kevin Durant out, I was considering Reed Shepherd assist. I know that seems a little weird that I'm going for Reed Shepherd, but the only thing to support that was that the only game I think this season that only 2 games that he's played without KD, he's seen very high minutes, low 20s to high 30s, and he's got over this line. His minutes go up astronomically when we look at it with KD, and he's only averaging 24, but without KD, his minutes have go up to 32. He's averaging. In terms of the potential assist, the volume would be there, of course, but there is just no guarantee in terms of what kind of option or role he'll play. When we look at it with KD in, it's not there because he's just not getting the minutes. He still would probably be coming into as a role. He wouldn't be coming into the starting lineup as Amin has been playing as the 5 and will probably continue to play as the 5. Probably going to get the likes of Josh Okogie, and that's what RotoWire is already projecting. So maybe 4 assists, you would be getting it for plus money right now. I'm not against it, honestly. You could take him for the 3 assists, but it would end up being parlay fodder. Another one that I was looking at was from the 76ers Clippers game. I was considering John Collins because I was considering last night for his points and rebounds, which was at 17.5. Unfortunately, now I think it's juiced. Yeah, it's 20 now. He's been getting this very consistently recently. I want to say the matchup is there. The 76ers aren't that good at defending the power forward position, especially now with Paul George expected to be out for the foreseeable future for 25 games exactly, due to violating the drug policy. Opportunities would be there. The only reason why I didn't like it was because I didn't want to kind of just fall back on a prop that I wanted to take last night, but I didn't bring it up at all. So that would just be a little disingenuous, because then I could just fall on the excuse of, I liked it on Sunday, it didn't hit, so I took it on Monday. So let me look into props that I'm comfortable with, and he's on a back-to-back. I don't like back-to-backs anyway. Another one I was looking at was Kelly Oubre, points and rebounds. Again, with Paul George out, Kelly Oubre comes fully into the rotation. When we look at games without Paul George, the data isn't really the most supporting in terms of the minutes that he's getting. He is going to get the time that we need. He's going to get high 20s to low 30s. In terms of the field goal attempts, Kelly Oubre is a very frustrating player, but he does get the volume for it. The rebound opportunities are there. I honestly do like points and rebounds. I just don't think the matchup was too compelling. For the small forward position, it is, but for the power forward, not necessarily. The 76ers they're projected to line up with Dominic Barlow, but I think him and Kelly Oubre will probably be pretty fluid in who's going to play at the 4 in that role, or in the 2. Anything else I was really liking for today? TJ McConnell, honestly. TJ McConnell assist. I feel as if that's something that cashes pretty consistently. It probably is a very difficult matchup, and it's 5 assists. Yeah, not the most compelling matchup. Rockets, even without KD. Amin Thompson, Josh Okogie, Tari Eason. This is a very defensive-minded matchup. What is the total, actually? 220. Okay, instead of just digging a hole that I can't explain for myself tomorrow, props are Brandon Miller points, Miles Bridges points and assist, Colin Sexton points, Jaden McDaniels points and rebounds. Other props that I did like: Sadiq Bey points and rebounds. I also like John Collins points and rebounds, and Kelly Oubre points and rebounds. If you're still here, I do appreciate them. If you could subscribe, As I'll always say, please gamble responsibly, gamble what you're willing to lose, and may the odds be ever in our favor. Peace out.